Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome in our math exhibition for grade 12 seniors 2021. Here we'll start with two groups. We have group of Mizna and Shok, and the other group is May and Kartham. Let's start with the first one, and then we'll talk about the reflection for each one. First of all, the word of Dr. Neghet for introduction.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Dear students, teachers, SLTs, principal, HODs, and parents. Welcome to Virtual Math Exhibition 2021. The goal of NAS Math Department is not to increase the amount of knowledge, but to create the possibilities for a child to invent and discover, to create men and women who are capable of doing new things. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of mind to think. Children must be taught how to think, not what to think. This event provides the students the opportunity to showcase their creative abilities while reflecting the skills they learn during their math lessons. Good luck, students.
Thank you, Dr. Neghet, for the first introduction. And let us start with the project itself. Now, the first group, Mizna and Shok.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shokari.
And my name is Nizai.
We're the seniors of your academy school.
And today we will talk about our statistics project with Mr. Abdul Wahab.
Our project speaks about the time that is spent on study.
Our project is about finding out the average number of the time that the student is spending studying is less than 4 hours.
The resources used in this project are the Z table, our statistics book, and some videos from the YouTube.
The materials that are used is an Excel sheet, a PowerPoint presentation, and our calculator.
We divided our work on 6 students. I'm Shok and I'm the group leader.
I am Nanda, the IT programmer.
Noura was the researcher.
Kaya was the information gatherer.
Amna Khamis was the designer.
And Mira Adil was the information corrector. Today we will speak about the 5 phases in our math project. Phase 1 was generating an idea. During this phase, we brainstormed one possibility. We came up with one investigative question. We consulted our teacher about the math project possibility. We chose a suitable topic and we investigated the question. And we also formed a hypothesis and we discussed the topic and the hypothesis with our teacher to gain his approval. We recorded the idea in our math project journal.
Phase 2 was all about researching and planning. During this phase, we researched the hypothesis, we confirmed the hypothesis with our teacher, we also contacted all appropriate people, we also recorded all the research sources in the math project journal, we filled out the project journal and started working on our project.
Phase 3 was all about the data collection and analysis. We chose an appropriate sample size, and we also collected data accurately from our last year seniors and our classmates. We recorded all the data and all the observations in our math project journal. We also created an Excel sheet that is needed for our project, for our math project.
Phase 4 was all about creating and exhibiting and displaying. During this phase, we created a PowerPoint presentation. We also made an Excel sheet, including the data we got from our last year seniors and some of our classmates to relate it to the hypothesis we created. Phase 5 was about reflecting on our project. We thought that the project would be hard, but when we started working on it, we found it interesting and easy.
We found some difficulties choosing a proper hypothesis, but when we all gathered, we created a proper hypothesis for our project. In each phase, we divided the work among all of the group members, and all of them were helpful and supportive.
We also want to thank Mr. Abdul Wahab, Dr. Nikat, and Ms. Marwa for their help and support during this difficult time.
Thank you, Mai. Thank you, Mizna and Kalna and Shog for that interesting presentation. Here, as we see before, they are talking about the product generally. Now we just want to start introduce the project step by step. Was it working? What did they do in each time, and so on. So let us to start with the first here, Mizna and Shog groups showing the steps and the phases of the project step by step. How to solve it, how to answer, how to collect the data, and so on. Just let us to check that and see what is the most important point. They make this process journal and try to answer some question in each phase. For example, in the first phase, that's it. They answering some points talking about generally what we need to do to make this product be done. Phase 2 all the same. Phase 3 here also. For phase 4, creating an exhibition displaying, I think it's already done in this video, but as I told you, that just generally, not in details. Also the reflection, and here some models they already did in the PowerPoint presentation. Here in the details, first of all, the teacher name and the product name and so on, the title and resources, the responsibility for each member in the group. We have Mizna, Noura, Amira, Shub, Amna, and Kamis, and Haya. Student progress journal, that's mean the meetings they already did. Also phase number 2, the meetings for what will we do for each phase. Also in step number 3, they sat together and talk about it. And the last point, the reflection, I think they are talking about it generally also. So they already finished all of the phases they want to cover. About the example itself, that is the question they ask for solve related to the lesson already choose, and I already accepted to work in. Just let us to open the PowerPoint presentation. That's the lesson 9.1. Then they take a question. They are the researcher here, Shog and Mizna and the groups. New academic school hypothesis that. And here they collecting the data by asking some students about the hours they already work on. Here is our reference. They solving this problem in the table or table A.
Mr.
Yes, Ms.
Can I start explaining the slides?
Yes, I have your video, I think, yeah, Mizna, so I'll show it also, and you have all the time to flip. Don't worry. Step number 1, the hypothesis and solving. Step number 2, the same, how to get the answer and how to use that. Step number 2, Pollution 1, pollution 2, and get the sample, first sample and second sample. Step 3, the answer with handwriting, as you see. And step number 5, just the evidence or not, and also what is the decision we will take in this. In the last point, I have here a video talking about what they already did in the question itself.
We are the New Academy School seniors, and today we will reflect on our lessons with Mr. Abdul Wahab. This problem is a real-life problem, and how to find out the specific amount average of the question. So today we will talk about lesson 9.1, and we will use the Z table. The question or the problem is the time that is spent on studying for a student.
Today we'll talk about lesson 9.1, testing difference between two means using the Z test. Time that's spent on studying for a student. Researcher in New Academy School hypothesis that the overall average of students studying is 4 hours. They asked and emailed a high school student in New Academy School to see if the hypothesis is true. A random sample that shown for the studying time is alpha 0.10. Is there enough evidence to support the claim? Assume sigma 1 and 2 is equal to 3.3. In this Excel sheet, I asked some of my classmates and some of the last year graduates for their full names and how many hours do they study in a day.
So basically this table is important because we need to find the area of the p-value. This is the formula of lesson 9.1. The formula is x bar 1, x bar 2, mu1, mu2 over square root sigma square 1 over n1 plus sigma square 2 over n2.
Step number 1. We should state the hypothesis. Our hypothesis is H0, M1 equal M2, and H1, M1 is greater than M2. Step number 2. We should compute the test value using a calculator, providing x bar and x bar 2, sigma 1 and sigma 2. We should compute the numbers from the Excel sheet in the calculator to find the average.
For step 3, we will find the p-value from the Z table, and after finding the p-value, the area will be 0.8554. After finding the area, we will minus 1 from the number of the area, and we will get 0.1446. And for step 4, since the p-value is larger than alpha, 0.1446, greater than 0.10, the null hypothesis is not rejected.
Last but not least, there is not enough evidence to support the claim that colleges offer more sports for males than they do for females, at the 0.10 level of significance. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed our presentation.
Okay, thank you. I addressed that. So, may the most point I want to talk about relating to this this presentation, the last presentation, the last video, is all of the members of the team are working. I think you already divide the work between us, between you, and then get each body can get the answer for 1 step or 2 steps and so on. Is that right, Mizna?
Yes, Mr.
Mizna, I cannot hear
It's a
you.
bit noisy. It's noisy because inside also it's noisier. I can't go anywhere right now. All the classes are full.
But anyway, the most point, I said that before, the most point I already prefer is that dividing the work between you and each body solve this 1 step, 2 steps like that. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Hasna, I need your reflection about the project generally. What do you think about it?
Okay, so generally the project was easy, but working on it, it was a bit hard because we found some problem. But when we gathered together, we solved our problems, and we also faced some technological problem. We also fixed that. Generally, it was easy because I studied hard and the question we wrote the
Misna,
questions and the answers carefully
your
with
voice
the.
lagging. I cannot hear you well. Your voice lagging. Start again, sorry.
Now, is it okay now?
It's okay, yes.
Okay. I was saying that first I thought the project would be easy,
Yeah.
but working on it, it was hard. We faced some problems, but we gathered together, we solved our problems. We also faced some technological problems, but we also solved it with other apps using video and all this stuff. And also we faced some problems with the questions, but we rewrote the questions and we carefully managed to work this out.
Mhm.
Overall, it's an easy lesson, it's a fun lesson, it was so fun, and we loved it.
Mhm. That's good.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. Shok.
Mr. I think Shog is with Miss Marwa.
Yes, now. Okay, Mizna. Mizna, because you are now the principal of of all of the projects, so let me to talk about what do you think about the subject itself, the statistics material generally.
Statistics?
What I talk about subject itself. What do you think about it before the project and after the project? What do you think?
Okay, so before the project, okay, I was able to tell myself, to motivate myself that this is an easy subject for me, and I love this subject because I can write questions, write the hypothesis also for myself. I can create a question, and after the project, it's like a test for myself and for for the members of the group, and I took the test easily for myself.
I think before
Yes.
before the project, maybe you told me that in such a session. I don't remember it when, but I think you said exactly like that. Before the project, I think the math or the statistics subject is only for get marks and just for success. So I study only for the test. But now I find it reasonable. I find it applicable. I can find each problem or each situation in the life. We can talk about statistics in it. Is that right? I think like that.
Yes, Mr. Yes, it's
Yes.
correct.
Yes, you said that before. Tell me about the project itself and also your team member. What do you think about them?
Mr. It's lagging.
Again, I'm asking about your reflection and your team members. What do you think about them? They were so tall, they were lazy like that, or what do you think? Still lagging? Still lagging?
Okay, Mr. What was your question?
Okay, yeah, Miss. I said, what do you think about your team members? What do you think about them? They were helpful, helped you in every point. They
Yes,
make
Mr.
call their points and so on. I cannot hear you.
Okay, so Mr. First of all, Shok was very supportive and she helped us with a lot of things. And Noura, she helped us designing the PowerPoint. Mira was also checking the PowerPoints for any mistakes, for any noun, adjective, and all this stuff to correct the words. Amna was also the IT. Amna also helped us for making the video, and Haya too. They were all beneficial, and we all helped each other for this project. No one was alone.
So you think they were interested to make the steps and the duties they want to do?
Yes, yes. They were working hard.
Also in that video, I saw all of you were working, and in the video, I think here, this is the first with
We are the
you.
New Academy School seniors, and today we
Okay,
will reflect on
that's
our
you, I
lessons
think,
with
Yamizna, right?
Yes.
But here, I
or
saw
the
some.
problem is the time that
Today we'll talk about lesson 9.
Who is this?
This is Noor.
Nora. Yes.
Yes.
Testing 2 means using the Z test. Time that's spent on studying.
Yeah,
for
just she need
specific-
to
They ask and we know
increase
that
the
studying
volume.
time evidence to sub equal to with their full names
Next time.
and
Who's this? Who's this?
This is Shop.
Sorry, Shok?
our studies study
Yes.
in a day.
She's here now.
so basically this table is important
Who's this?
This is Haya.
Hi. Okay.
Yes.
for the area of the P value.
This is the formula of lesson 9.
Who's this?
This is Khamis.
Amna, I think, yes, Amna.
Group sigma 1 and sigma 2, we should compute
And that's
the
you
numbers
also?
on the Excel
Yes.
sheet and the calculator too. Alpha 0.146
This Mira, maybe? Mira?
Yeah.
Mira.
Yes.
greater than 0.10. The null hypothesis is not rejected.
Last but not least, there is not enough evidence.
Show me again, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's it. Excuse me. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I like it so much to work, all of you. All of you work.
Thank you, Mister.
Yes, that's what I told you before. I think all of you find the responsibility to do and can do it easily and good. Okay, Mai, what do you think about that project? If you have any word to talk about. Thank you, Ms. Neghat. So thank you, Dr. Neghat, a lot.
I feel it's a fully detailed project. It has many informations. It has innovative ideas. I like the explanation.
Which part of explanation? In the PowerPoint or in the video?
The video one. Even the introduction was very good.
What do you think about the process journal? The duties for each body and so on.
It's all clear.
It's all clear, and I think it's also determined for anybody. If you find any points to talk about, Yamai, what it will be? And if we are talking about how to improve this project to be better than that. Ms.
I
Nawal, so
have
if you
no idea
want to
because
answer
I
this
feel
question,
it's very good.
it's very good. So that's perfect. No need to improve, huh?
No, I don't
What,
think so.
Mister? What was the question?
Question is, what do you think if we want to improve this project to be better? What do you think? What is the lack on your
Which Shogvi she wants to answer?
Sorry?
Okay, Mr. I will answer on this question. So, as me being the group leader, I would
Welcome
like
back, Shok, by the way.
Thank you.
And Dr. Negat said good jobs for you, all of you, not only you.
Thank you so much. As me
Of
being the
course,
group
not
leader,
all the girls. I am saying good job to Mr. Abdul Wahab also, because it's your effort, your motivation. And of course, girls, they did a lot of research, which I can see from their research project. from their explanation, from their reflection.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, all the girls. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul
Thank you.
Wahab. And any leaders, anyone wants to share feedback further?
Yes, sure.
Yes, I just wanted to tell you something that as me being the group leader, you asked the question earlier that if we wanted to run you this project, is there any changes we would like to add? I would
Sure.
like to say yes, we would like to work more on the design of the PowerPoint and to add more specific details about the topics we used in this project. Also, we needed to
The
reduce
first point,
the
the first point is what?
Sorry, I didn't hear you, Mr.
The first point you want to prove is what? The PowerPoint?
To create the design in a very better way than we did, to make it more relatable to
Yeah.
mathematics, or let's say statistics. Yes,
Good
the
one.
design had to be we had to put more effort in this, and we also had to reduce the number of members in order for it to be a better project, because when we're too much members, we don't find it like it's helpful somehow. They can do a lot of jobs in the project, but still it's also confusing, like to find places for them to do something specific. So
Yeah.
we had to reduce the number of members. Yes.
What do you think about the survey itself? I think the number of the people you already take the survey is a little bit small. Maybe 10 or 15 like that.
Yes, that is also a very important point. We actually tried to find a lot of more people to ask them for it, but the problem is we ran out of time. We had to do it faster than we were doing it, so that's why it's a very small number of people that we asked from. It had to be more because I don't know what to
Yes,
say.
as you know,
Mister, I would
when you find.
also like to add that if the math fair was like face to face with
Okay,
like
okay,
a
Ms.
bow
Thank
and
you.
a board.
Just a second, Ms. Just a second. Dr. Nogi, please, can you mute your mic? I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Go ahead.
Mister, I was saying that if the fair was face to face with like a board and all of the members were there, it would be better to have like a clearer explanation and design.
Yeah, good. I found this. Okay, Ms. Thank you, Mizna. Thank you, Shok. Thank you,
I would
Haya.
also add up to Mizma's point. I agree with her that if we were face to face, it would be better. But also, as it's a new experience for us since last year to study online, we can use a lot of different methods in technology to create a better project than we did.
Yes, that's what we talk. We can say that's the main interest of studying or learning online. We can find a lot of means to help us to make the learning is easier and so on, and also interesting. That's the most important point, I think. Okay, anyway, thanks for Shok and Mizna groups. Yeah, Mira, Noura, all of you. I'm sure you already work hard. Thanks a lot also for Mizna and Shok again to come in their we can say that 3 week to also record the videos and so on. Thanks a lot, inshallah, and I appreciate that, and you will find that in your report, don't worry, inshallah. Now, we will talk about the second product. It will be with Miss May, because it's here, first of all. So, May, you want to talk about anything before the project, or let me to talk about that after the project itself?
After the project.
Okay, after displaying, you mean. Now, let us to start with the video.
Hello everyone, my name is May and I'm here with my friend Nathan. Today we will present our statistics project about types of graphs. Type 1 is abstract, type 2 is systematic. So we consulted with our teacher and parents about the project possibilities. We chose a specific topic. We formed a hypothesis.
We discussed the hypothesis and the topic with the teacher and gained approval. We recorded ideas in In our math project, general and uploaded evidence in Google Classroom.
We have completed project presentation, recording, and upload the evidence on Google Classroom.
Hi everyone, my name is May and I'm here with my friend Kalina. We are here to present our statistics project which talks about the types of graphs.
A dot plot. A dot plot is useful for relatively small set of data. Dot plot clearly display clusters, gaps of data and outliers. One axis of the dot plot, usually the horizontal, is a scale covering the range of quantitative values to be found. The other axis, usually the vertical, shows descriptive labels that are associated with each of the numeric values.
Type 1, which is dot plot. A dot plot is a two-dimensional graphical display of objects showing some quantitative characteristic of those objects.
Creating a dot plot. Draw a number line horizontal axis to cover the range from small to large data value. For each observation, place a dot above the number line located at the observation's data. When multiple observations with the same value dots are stacked vertically.
As you can see here, we have a dot plot graph random sample, which includes a random digits as well.
A dot plot is a graphic display using dots and a simple scale to compare the frequency within categories or groups.
So here we have a real-life example, which talks about students' favorite subjects. We have a variety of subjects. We have math, science, physical education, history, art, reading, and music. So as you can see here, two students chose the math as their favorite subject. One has chose science as his or her favorite subject. Three have chosen PE, and so on. And that plus the frequency axis is not necessary, but you need to count to find the frequency in each stack of dots. And they can be hard to construct and interpret for data sets with many points. They can be used with numerical and categorical data.
Comparing two dot plots. Misbah and Faizes compared how many movies they watched per month of a year. The two dot plot shows each set of data.
So as we can see here on the left side, we have number of movies watched in a month by Misbah, and on the right side we have number of movies watched in a month by Faiza. So this is the comparison of two dot plots, as you can see.
Misbah's dot plot is more spread out than Faiza's. She has more low values but also has some high numbers. Faiza's dot plot is symmetrical.
So what is symmetrical and dot plot? A graph is symmetric if the left and right side of the graph are mirror images of each other. A graph is good if it has more data on one side rather than the other.
Stem and leaf diagram. A stem and leaf diagram is an arrangement of digits that is used to display an ordered numeric data. A stem and leaf diagram provides a visual summary of your data. This provides a partial sorting of the data and allows you to detect the distributional pattern of the data. Example, constructing the stem and leaf diagram for the given data. Method, use the digits in the tens place for the stem and the digits in the ones place for the leaves. Note, for 32, 3 is in the tens place and 2 is in the ones place.
As you can see in the picture below, which is explained as well. Constructing stem and leaf diagrams. 1. Sort the data from low to high. Number 2. Analyze the data for the variable of interest to determine how you wish to split the values into a stem and leaf. Number 3. List all possible stems in a single column between the lowest and highest values in the data. 4. For each stem, list all leaves associated with the stem. Example, note, first make a key for the data, as explained in the picture below as well. Thank you for listening and have a good day.
So here we come to phase 5, the reflection part. First of all, the topic itself was hard.
He wasn't understanding anything. We faced many difficulties, many challenges until we did the project. After doing the project, we found that topic so easy and everything went well. As well, the subject, it was hard, it was boring as well. But after doing the project and learning about this lesson, we found everything easy and we found that we can apply things to real life examples as well. Reflection. We reflected on math exhibition project. We recorded our reflection. We shared the reflection with our teacher. So we want to end it with a thank you message. I want to end it by a thank you message. I want to thank our statistics teacher, Mr. Adil Wahab, Dr. Malik and Ms. Mawar for their efforts and for their support always. Thank you so much and have a good day.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot, Mai and Kaltham. That about the video and the PowerPoint. I think here the same for our point also. If you want to talk about anything here, any point here, Mai, I think it's really okay. Okay, that's up to you. That's related that related to the project itself, but here in the PowerPoint representation. I think it's the same exact like as you did in the video. If you want to talk about any point here, you can do that. Yeah, Mai. It's okay. Mai,
Sorry, Mister.
do you want to talk about anything here in the PowerPoint presentation, or enough in the video? Mai?
No, I don't think I have anything to say.
Okay.
I reflected as well.
Okay. Okay, let us see what is the process journal. What did you do in that? Phase number 1, phase number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Product name, types of graph, description, the team member, progress, the meeting, I think. All of this meeting in just one date, 34, 34, 34, 30 April. 30 April is so
No,
crowded.
Mister. It's the due date for the project.
Okay. Let us to check some evidence. That's business. So That's true. Your project here, you might? Yes, I
Yes,
think so.
Mr.
Okay. May or calcium are the same, I think. Right?
Yes.
You just here, I need to check some evidence of you, photos and so on. And that's it. Maybe that's the most important point I need to talk about here. That's you try to share your evidence. That means you're already working in each step. You're just here trying to search for the robot what are you doing. Again. That's also working, I think. This Hamda. There's a meeting. Still the same meeting. The same meeting also. Anyway, good job, by the way. If you need to talk about any reflection about it, you can do it now. Start now if you want, Yamai. First of all, do you like the product?
As you wish.
Okay. What is the most what? The most beloved point in that project? Which point you prefer much?
I love that we work as a team, even though we are online. We face a bit of challenges, not
Yes. We cannot hear you. Still we cannot. May. May, still we cannot hear you. May, you can
Mr.
log out and come back. Yes, then we can hear you. Ms. Nansur, what do you think about the MAIS project? Have you have any reflection? Yes, May.
Mr. Can you hear me?
Yes, that was good.
Okay, so Mr. Before, as I said, even though we're online, but we as teamwork, we try to pass upon the challenges and try our best to finish this project as soon as possible with our hard work and effort as well. We as classmates, we try to support each other and end with a good result.
Mhm. I think you and Kaltham made all of the work, all of the project, right?
Each girl was having her own task. We cannot say like one or two girls did the whole project.
Mhm.
So in result, we all was having our role in there.
Yes, and you choose you, May, and Kaltham to make the presentation, right?
Yes.
What do you think about projects generally? Do you like to work in this type of program to make a lot of projects to take all of the tasks in your class to be projects and so on, or just for one time a year? That's enough.
Actually, I like to work on project, but doing a project is a big responsibility for me, especially if you are the leader of the group. You have many things to do. You should be there for every member in the group. You should keep looking after them.
Yes, sure.
But me as a leader, I tried my best to stand there, stand for them, support them, and be there for them.
Uh,
Even before the project, I wasn't, I mean, the subject itself, I felt in some lessons it was boring a bit. But after doing the project, I felt it was good. Uh, it's totally different than what I was expecting.
I think that's because you just try to understand what is the meaning of the subject itself and how to apply that in our life situations. But I think you choose a very professional topic, dot plots and this type of questions just relating to how to graph and how to make it in a test itself. But we can find some topics related to the real life more than that. What do you think about it?
You mean other topics than the one we did?
Mhm.
Why didn't I choose them?
Yes, that's my point.
Maybe because I felt it's a bit easier. Because as I said at the beginning, I felt some lessons in the subject was boring. But after doing the project, I mean, I felt fine. So I'm looking forward to do more challenging projects. in the future.
It will be inshallah next week. Don't worry about it. It will be inshallah.
Inshallah.
But yes, the point is what now, as a teacher and students and so on, trying to working in our points. In what? In this, in how to make the subject to be more interesting. That's it. Especially in our subject, because as you see here, we have a lot of theoretical points to talk about. Starting from the title of the lesson to the last of the lesson like this, especially in mathematics. But I think Mizna and Shog choose a real situation to talk about and try to make it as a question and they find the answer in the survey. It will be right if you work by using this strategy. I need to find people and talk with them and take some answers, and then I'll make my situation, or I'll make situation first and then take the answers and so on. By using real life, not only to get a lesson and try to explain it for the others and let them, no, in this case, I'm a teacher, instructor. But generally, I want in the project to make you as a researcher. You have a situation now and you try to answer it all the time. That's the point. Got my point?
Yes, I got it.
Okay. Ms. Mansour is still here or out? I think out. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for your work, hard work. Inshallah, I'm trying to. طبعا I appreciate that so much. So inshallah, don't worry about your marks in the report, inshallah. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, Master.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you too.